There is a dreamer who never gives up. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Nelson Mandela, 1918 to 2013, was a South African black nationalist who spent 27 years in prison for fighting against the country's discriminatory apartheid system of racial segregation. His negotiations in the early 1990s with South African President F.W. de Klerk helped bring an end to apartheid and ushered in a peaceful transition to majority rule. Mandela served as president 1994 to 99 of the country's first multi-ethnic government. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. Good morning, respected principal sir, teachers, and my dear friends. I am Anjasha Majumdar, the club service director of the Interact Club of Pailan World School. Today we celebrate the Nelson Mandela International Day or Mandela Day, which is an annual international day in honor of Nelson Mandela, celebrated each year on 18th July, Mandela's birthday. The day was officially declared by the United Nations in November 2009, with the first UN Mandela Day held on 18th July 2010. Thank you.
How does a man spend 27 years in prison, put there by an oppressor, and come out of that experience with not a heart of stone, not a cold heart, but a heart that is willing to forgive and embrace? How is there no bitterness?
Well, I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be. And therefore, you had to reject all negative features in your own soul, in your blood system, and focus your attention on the positive things. I wanted to be known as Mandela, a man with weaknesses.
Nelson Mandela is regarded in the world over as one of the history's most inspirational figures. In every language and every country, Mandela's legacy shines as a beacon of hope and healing, and as a potent reminder of the power of the human spirit to overcome impossible odds. Nelson Mandela quotes to inspire you to believe. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear.
Mandela, like Gandhi before him, was an ardent believer in the equal rights and potential of the people of all origins and backgrounds. His courage in the face of oppression stands as an example of the power of passion and perseverance to change the world. He said, "Difficulties break some man, but make others. No axe is sharp enough to cut the soul of a sinner who keeps on trying, one armed with the hope that he will rise in the end."
Nelson Mandela said, "If you want the cooperation of humans around you, you must make them feel that they are important. And you do that by being genuine and humble. Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace. People respond in accordance to how you treat them."
Nelson Mandela was born on 18 July 1918 to the royal family of the Thembu tribe in Mbizo, British South Africa. His father's name was Gadla Henry Mfakanyiswa Mandela and his mother's Noskini Fanny. His original name was Ralalala, and he got the name Nelson from a teacher at the age of 7. He was a hard-working student and would go on to become a law major at the University of Fort Hare and the University of Witwatersrand. Afterward, he became a lawyer in Johannesburg, during which he introduced himself to anti-colonial and African nationalist movements. This video present the life of Nelson Mandela as a social rights activist, politician and philanthropist. First years as an activist. In 1943, Mandela joined the ANC, African National Congress Party, and co-founded its Youth League in 1944. After the establishment of apartheid, a system that promoted white supremacy and suppression of black people, ANC's members, including Mandela, made it their life mission to overthrow this injustice. Mandela rose to the rank of president of the ANC's Transvaal branch, receiving widespread attention for his role in the 1952 Defiance Campaign and the 1955 Congress of the People. Not surprisingly, he was increasingly unpopular among the white-only authority. In 1956, he was arrested for treason and served 5 years in prison. After discharge, along with his fellow ANC members and the South African Communist Party, SACP, Nelson co-founded the militant group named Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation, and led an anti-government sabotage campaign. Unfortunately, he was re-arrested in 1962, this time sentenced to life imprisonment for conspiring against the nation. Prison life and rise in influence. Mandela spent the next 27 years in prison, transferred from Robben Island to Pollsmoor Prison and Victor Verster Prison. During 18 years staying in Robben Island, he and his comrades were physically and verbally abused by the white guards. Mandela's eyesight was also permanently damaged due to having to work at a lime quarry without glasses. Nonetheless, his influence as a human rights activist grew despite all the terrible conditions he had to endure in Robben Island. Nelson rose to become a prominent figure among ANC prisoners on the island and expanded his sphere of influence beyond that, joining a group representing all Robben Island political prisoners called Ulundi, through which he built connections with two other activist groups, the Pan-Africanist Congress and Ukai Chan Club. Later, he initiated a movement called the University of Robben Island, enabling prisoners to share the expert skills and knowledge, with Nelson himself debated socio-political topics with his comrades. To the white guards that mistreated him, he sought to understand them and convert them to his cause. In 1982, he and some other ANC figures would be transferred to the second confinement, Pollsmoor Prison. The reason for this transfer was suspected to be the authorities' fear of Nelson's rising prominence in Robben Island. Ironically, his significance as a freedom fighter didn't diminish because of that, but grew more powerful during his stay there. Conditions at Pollsmoor were better than at Robben Island, and Nelson got on well with the site's commanding officer. Utilizing his freedom of reading and correspondence, he read and wrote tirelessly, reaching out to not only the black community, but also people of other races. In the 1980s, South Africa plunged into chaos due to socio-economic breakdowns. Violence burst out across the country, and many international banks withdrew investment from South Africa. Pressured by British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and bankers, President Botha reluctantly offered to release Nelson from prison if he rejected violence as a political weapon. Showing no compromise, he declined, stating that the ANC would renounce violence if the government did the same. This resulted in him being given solitary confinement, which worsened his tuberculosis condition. In 1988 he was transferred to Victor Verster Prison, and it was there that things changed for the better. He was housed in the relative comfort of a warder's house with a personal cook and used the time to complete his Bachelor of Law degree. While there, he was permitted many visitors and organized secret communications with exiled ANC leader Oliver Tambo. The new president of South Africa, Fr de Klerk, met him to discuss abolishing apartheid and had him released in 1990. Presidency and later life. In 1991, Nelson became president of the ANC and collaborated with President de Klerk to end apartheid peacefully, promising equal rights for everyone. Their fight for the peace of South Africa earned the pair the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. His tireless fighting for what's right eventually paid off in the 1994 general election, which granted the right to vote to all races in South Africa. The ANC won and Nelson Mandela became the first black president of the country. Now with a new role, Nelson Mandela continued his fight for black people's rights by issuing policies to improve the living standards and facilities of black South Africans, seeking to relieve them from the pain of decades under oppression. He extended his humanitarian policies to making South Africa a country of equality, regardless of race and color. In 1999, Nelson Mandela withdrew from politics. But while he lived a quiet life in his final years, he continued to be an icon of peace and equality worldwide. In the same year that he retired, Nelson founded the Nelson Mandela Foundation, an organization that is dedicated to upholding the principles of equality, freedom, and peace. In South Africa, he is often referred to by his Xhosa clan name, Madiba, and described as the father of the nation. His pass away in 2013 saddened the world and left many in tears, but his status as a symbol of equality, peace, and humanitarianism will stay forever.
Nelson Mandela said, "You can start changing our world for the better daily, no matter how small the action is. We must use time wisely and forever realize that time is always right to do right." Hello everyone, I am Nihal Gupta, the President of Interact Club of Pailan School, wishing you all for a happy and safe life. Thank you.